Turo militam yena tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swa Padantikam. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Radhanath Swami Iti Namine. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nivishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Syam Shri Rupam Sagrajatan Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Tadvaitam Tavadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhamritam Sya. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namasute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishwabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanambeyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadada Shivasadi Gora Bhakta Vrindam. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I'd like to formally welcome everyone present now and those who will be present subsequently. And I wish you a very pleasant audience. We'll be reading from Bhagavad Gita. Prabhu, I think the sloka is altered. Sloka is 12. 1.11.12. We'll be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, chapter 11, Lord Krishna's entrance into Dwaka. Text number 12. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskrityam Naranchaiva Narautamam Devin Saraswatim Vyasa Chatudaya Mudirayet Nasta Priya Swabradesu Detyam Bhagavatam Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Nasiki. So the sloka, I repeat, and then translation and purport. Savatu Sabavi Bhava Punya Vriksha Lata Shramai Udyano Pavana Ramai Vrita Padma Karasiyam Savatu Sabavi Bhava Punya Vriksha Lata Shramai Udano Pavana Ramai Brita Padma Karasuyam Savatu Sava Vibhava Punya Vriksha Lata Shramai Udyano Pavana Ramai Brita Padma Karasuyam. Word for word transliteration. Sava, all. Ritu, seasons. Sava, all. Vibhava, opulences. Unya, pious. Vriksha, trees. Lata, creepers. Ashramai, with hermitages. Udyana, orchards. Upavana, flowers. Flower gardens. Aramai, pleasure gardens and beautiful parks. Vrita, surrounded by. Padma Aksha, Akara, the birthplace of lotuses or nice reservoirs of water. Sriyam, increasing the beauty. Translation by Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The city of Dwarka Puri was filled with the opulences of all seasons. There were hermitages, orchards, flower gardens, parks and reservoirs of water, breeding lotus flowers all over. Purport by Jagaguru Srila Prabhupada. Perfection of human civilization is made possible by utilizing the gifts of nature in their own way. As we find herewith in the description of his opulence, Dwarka was surrounded by flowers, flower gardens, and fruit orchards, along with reservoirs of water and growing lotuses. There is no mention of mills and factories supported by slaughterhouses, which are the necessary paraphernalia of modern metropolis. The propensity to utilize nature's own gifts is still there, even in the heart of modern civilized man. The leaders of modern civilization select their own residential quarters in a place where there are such naturally beautiful gardens and reservoirs of water, but they leave the common men to reside in congested areas without parks and gardens. Herein, of course, we find a different description of the city of Dwarka. It is understood that the whole dam or residential quarter was surrounded by such gardens and parks with reservoirs of water where lotuses grew. It is understood that all the people depended on nature's gift of fruits and flowers without industrial enterprises promoting filthy huts and slums for residential quarters. Advancement of civilization is estimated not on the growth of mills and factories to deteriorate the finer things of the human being, but on development of the potent spiritual instinct of the human beings and giving them a chance to go back to Godhead. Development of factories and mills is called Ugra Karma or pungent activities. As such activities deteriorate the final sentiment of the human beings and society to the form of dungeon of demons. We find herein the mention of pious trees, which produce seasonal flowers and fruits. The imperial trees are useless jungles only, and they can only be useless to supply fuel. In the modern civilization, such imperial trees are planted on the side of the roads. Human energy should be properly utilized in developing the final sense of spiritual understanding, in which lies the solution of life. Fruits, flowers, beautiful gardens, parks and reservoirs of water, which dock the swans, playing in the midst of lotus flowers, and cows, giving sufficient milk and butter, as essential for developing the finer tissues of human body. As against this, the dungeons of mines, factories, and workshops develop demoniac propensity in the working class. The vested interests flourish at the cost of the working class, and consequently, there are severe clashes between them in so many ways. The description of Dwarka Dam is the ideal of human civilization. Bukan karoti wa chalam, mangam langa yate girim, ya kripata mahamande, si guru notarinam, ya kripata mahamande, Paramananda Madhava, Sri Krishna, Chaitanya, Ishwara. Hare Krishna. So I like to seek the special blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, and beg your special mercy. Please cast your glance of mercy upon me, that I may be able to do this service for my own purification and for the benefit of the audience. You are welcome. The text we are reading today, for me, is of great interest, especially this chapter, not only the text, the last chapter and this chapter, Krishna living as Napu and Krishna entering Dwarka. This segment of the lecture from text 11 to text number 15, they are just boxed in to describe the scenic beauty of Dwarka. So it's describing the city of Dwarka, activities of the citizens of Dwarka, and then the festivities that go on and the paraphernalia for festivities and what the city looked like during this period. So description and decoration of Dwarka. Prabhupada opens the chapter or the purport by speaking about civilization. And then he spoke about natural resources. He spoke about Ugra Karma. He spoke about spiritual advancement. These are the basic content of Prabhupada's purport, but we'll take them in piecemeal. I will open by making reference to Dwarka as the kingdom of God on earth. Krishna descended in Mathura and was swiftly taken over to Gokul. He stayed and had all his childhood pastimes in Vrindavan. Then he came back to Mathura and killed Kamsa and left to go and build Dwarka. Dwarka is glorified for the fact that in Mathura, Krishna was not a king. In Vrindavan, Krishna was not king. But Dwarka is referred to as the kingdom where Krishna is the king. That is what Prabhupada says in one of the purports here. And it makes me start thinking, I ponder, when our Lord Jesus Christ was praying, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth. It looks like utopian concepts. But in Dwarka, this prayer of our Lord Jesus Christ, it made visual. You can visualize it. And you can add content to that prayer. thy kingdom come, means the kingdom is not of here, it's from somewhere else. It should come. And in that kingdom, his will be done as it is done in heaven. So when Jesus said this, it takes us to Chaitamrita. When Mahaprabhu finished taking sannyasi and was itching to go to Vrindavan, Nityananda and all other devotees, they made a deception of him, a rigmarole, and then he came to the Ganga and thought it was Yamuna in Vrindavan. But when he came out, Advaita Acharya told him, no, you are not in Vrindavan yet. You are here in Mayapur. But then, when Mahaprabhu expressed his eagerness to go to Vrindavan, Advaita said, what is the difference? Wherever you are is Vrindavan. Wherever you are is Vrindavan. So, the kingdom of God is wherever God is. And we can depict the kingdom of God in two phases. One is the one we are hearing now, that is where Krishna himself resides as king. And the other one is the kingdom that the devotees of God make to the glory of God. And that is why there is that popular saying that when the righteous rule, the people will flourish. When the righteous rule, the righteous are righteous because they are devotees of God. And when they rule based on the injunctions or the laws of God to the glory of God and the upliftment of mankind. So Queen Kunti was acknowledging in the Bhagavad Gita, in Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 8, text number 41. She mentioned that their kingdom is what it is today because Krishna perused it. Text 40 of first canto chapter 8. It says, Ime jana pada sidwa sopakosa diviruda vana drinadyuda vanto kedanta tava viksitai. All these cities and villages are flourishing in all respects because the herbs and grains are in abundance. The trees are full of fruits. The rivers are flowing. Hills are full of minerals, and the oceans are full of wealth.
Excuse me, Prabhuji, what is the verse?
Verse 40, 1840.
Okay.
1840. Prayers of the day. The rivers are flowing, the hills are full of minerals, and the ocean full of wealth. And this is all due to dancing over them. So the kingdom of Singapore is also as prosperous as the kingdom of God. Why? The king Yudhishthira was personally installed by Krishna. And Yudhishthira ruled his kingdom based on Can you hear me? Hare Krishna?
We can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, my internet connection is having some challenge.
Yeah, your audio comes on and off.
Prabhu, maybe you can remove your video and use the voice alone. Then maybe the internet will work more better.
Yeah. Well, says Prabhu is having issues with the internet connection.
Yeah, maybe when Prabhu comes back, he should just use his voice and video.
Yeah, maybe just the audio.
Yes, the audio, yes. And when internet is not strong, it's better to do that.
Yeah.
hear me? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, yeah, we can hear you, Prabhuji. Yeah, Prabhuji, you can continue.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I'm sorry for that. This is
It's
part
okay.
of this is part of the modern civilization that Prabhupada is talking about.
Yes.
Somehow or the other, you get straight somewhere.
Yes.
Okay, so I stopped at the point where I said that Krishna personally installed Ishira at Hastinapur.
Yeah.
And Ishira ruled according to the dictates of God. And his kingdom so flourished that it became a referral point. The citizens, they were so lively and happy that they never lacked anything. Everything flourished in the kingdom. Even when the king is levying them taxes, they pay joyfully their taxes because they know that by the righteousness of the king, they are benefited. Am I audible?
Yes, Prabhuji, you are.
Can
We just lost your audio. Hmm. See. Sri Ganga Prasad, your audio is not connected.
Rebel, are you there? Can you hear me? Hare Krishna.
Yes, we can hear you now, Prabhuji.
All right. So he said
Hare
in the kingdom of Maharaj Yudhishthira, in the 10th canto also, chapter 10 of first canto, text number 4, it mentions that during the reign of Maharaj Yudhishthira, the clouds showered all the water that people needed, and the earth produced all the necessary. Hare Krishna.
Kesari,
Hare,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, we can hear you, Prabhuji.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Well, it's very low, huh?
We can
Okay.
hear you.
Okay. Anyway, I'm sorry. This is circumstance beyond my control.
Of course.
Are you there now? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Prabhuji.
Well,
Yes, yes.
can you hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji. We
Can you
can
hear
hear
me?
you. We can hear you.
Huh?
Yes, we can. We hear you.
I think the next thing, then network is very bad.
Yes, it's very bad. Because he seemed not to hear me when I speak.
Yeah. And it's connected again. Hello?
Jai, all glories to His grace, Shiva Svanachari Ki Jai, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for being here. We're having problems with Ganga Prasad's internet connection today.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll be very happy for you to.
Yeah, maybe if you may continue on his behalf, because his internet is not allowing him to speak.
What is the verse? I have to look at.
I can put the verse back on the screen. Yeah. Okay. It's 1:11.12.
1:11.12. Okay. It says, Sarvatu Sarva Vibhava Punya Vriksha Lakta Shramai Udya No Pavar Naramai Vrita Padma Karashviyam. And translation is the city of Dwaraka was filled with the opulences of all seasons. There were hermitages, orchards, flower gardens, parks, and reservoirs of water, breeding lotus flowers all over. And the report says, perfection of human civilization is made possible by utilizing the gifts of nature in their own way. As we find here in the description of its opulence, Dwaraka was surrounded by flower gardens and fruit orchards, along with reservoirs of water and growing lotuses. There is no mention of mills and factories supported by slaughterhouses, which are the necessary paraphernalia for the modern metropolis. The propensity to utilize nature's own gifts is still there, even in the heart of modern civilized man. The leaders of modern civilization select their own residential quarters in a place where there are such naturally beautiful gardens and reservoirs of water, but they leave the common man to reside in congested areas without parks and gardens. Herein, of course, we find a different description of the city of Dwaraka. It is understood that the whole dharma or residential quarter was surrounded by such gardens and parks with reservoirs of water where lotuses grew. It is understood that all the people depended on nature's gifts of fruits and flowers without industrial enterprises promoting filthy huts and slums for residential quarters. Advancement of civilization is estimated not on the growth of mills and factories to deteriorate the finer instincts of the human being, but on developing the potent spiritual instincts of human beings and giving them a chance to go back to Godhead. Development of factories and mills is called ugra karma, or pungent activities, and such activities deteriorate the finer sentiments of the human being and society to form a dungeon of demons. We find herein the mention of pious trees, which produce seasonal flowers and fruits. The impious trees are useless jungles only, and they can only be used to supply fuel. In the modern civilization, such impious trees are planted on the sides of roads. Human energy should be properly utilized in developing the finer senses for spiritual understanding, in which lies the solution of life. Fruits, flowers, beautiful gardens, parks, and reservoirs of water with ducks and swans playing in the midst of lotus flowers, and cows giving sufficient milk and butter are essential for developing the finer tissues of the human body. As against this, the dungeons of mines, factories, and workshops develop demonic propensities in the working class. The vested interests flourish at the cost of the working class, and consequently, there are severe clashes between them in so many ways. The description of Dwarakadam is the ideal human society. So I think I have to still say some prayers for the blessings of the acharyas, because we cannot do anything without the blessings of the acharyas. Though he has said the prayers already. Omagana Timiridasya Gyanam Ganashala Kayak Chakshuramalitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Mano Bistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Davati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yukta Padakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavam Sya Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragnastam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakam Vitam Sya Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Tirtha Swaminiti Namini Namaste Krishna Padaya Prabhupada Shri Tatmane Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Bhakti Tetariti Namini Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvese Sasunyavadi Pasachade Satarini Vancha Kalpatarabhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Ivacha Patita Nampa Venibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namini Gaura Tuesday Namaha Nityanando Vatutendo Rasoda Pranavalabha Yanaviri Jivita Patir Krishna Prema Prasad Prabhu Padmavati Sutta Srimam Sachirananda Puvajaha Bhavam Mata Jagat Rakta Rakta Gaura Kene Varaha Advaitam Harinadvaita Racharyam Bhakti Shamshanat Bhaktavattaramitam Samarveta Acharya Shraye Panchatattvamakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakti Shantikam Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Nama Pankajanabaya Nama Pankajamaline Nama Pankajanitraya Namaste Pankajagraye Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha Jagaditaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopita Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Jayatam Sarato Pango Mama Mandir Gatima Sarvaswa Padam Pujo Radha Mandana Mohano Divya Vindaranya Kalpadrumanda Srimarana Gara Simhastanastau Sri Sri Radha Srila Govinda Devo Christianity Sivyamanos Smaramin Srimam Rasara Sarambi Vamsivata Tatastita Karasam Venu Swanai Gopi Gopinahata Sri Estunaha Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Bindavanishwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priyai Devi Krishnamayi Prota Radhika Paradevata Sarva Lakshmi Mayi Sarvam Kanti Samohini Paraha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. The city of Dwarkapuri was filled with opulences of all seasons. There were hermitages, orchards, flower gardens, parks, a reservoir of water, breeding lotus flowers all over. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum lagayate green yatkri patamahan bande Shri Guru Dina Taranam Paramanam Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Nakanda Mandala Kram Vyaptayina Characharam Tatpadam Dashitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. So we are just standing in for Ganga Prasad Prabhu because his internet is failing him. So we'll just say something very briefly. The beauty of Dwarkapuri is captured in this verse. The city of Dwaraka was filled with the opulences of all seasons. There were hermitages, orchards, flower gardens, parks, and reservoirs of water breeding lotus flowers all over. Actually, we have to understand that Dwaraka is non-different from the Vaikuntha planets, because it is said that when the Lord descends into the material creation, he actually descends with his abodes. Like it is mentioned that when Krishna informed Srimati Radharani that he was coming to the earth planet as promised, immediately Srimati Radharani began to cry. She was already feeling separation from her beloved. And she was thinking, how am I going to survive in this environment without my beloved Krishna? So she began to cry. And Krishna said, but why are you crying? I'm here. Why are you crying? And Radharani said, I cannot tolerate the separation from you. Now you are informing me you want to go to the earth planet. And so that length of time you're going to stay on the earth planet, that length of time, I'm going to miss your association. That is what I'm crying for. And Krishna said, well, I have come to invite you. I've come to inform you that you and myself, both of us, are going to the Earth planet. It's not that I'm leaving you from behind. I'm leaving you behind. Then Shrimati Radharani, she stopped crying. She was happy that Krishna is taking her along to the Earth planet. But then she asked that, my dear beloved Krishna Sham, you say we are going to the Earth planet. How can we go to the Earth planet without Govardhan, without Yamuna, without all these beautiful forests of Goloka Vrindavan? And Krishna said, don't worry, I know your desire. So I've already sent 12 of the many forests of Goloka Vrindavan down to Vrindavan, and I've already sent Yamuna Devi to Vrindavan, and I've already sent Govardhan to Vrindavan. I've sent all the necessary ingredients and objects that would enhance our pastimes in Vrindavan, in Boma Vrindavan. So when Shrimati Radharani heard this, she was ecstatic that Krishna has already arranged, Krishna has already sent down the lovable objects of Goloka Vrindavan to Boma Vrindavan. And so she said, all right, I'm ready to go. Now that you've already made all the necessary arrangements, I'm ready to go. And Krishna said, even some of our associates, some of the gopis, some of the gopals, they are all coming. Even some of the Surabhi cows, they are all coming. So it's a whole entourage. It's just not me and you alone. We are going with a whole entourage. So this enlivened Shrimati Radharani so much that he said, okay, how soon are we going? Let's go now. So the fact is that the abode of the Lord, even though it is on the planet Earth or within the material universe, but we have to understand that these abodes are actually imported. They're a replica of the spiritual world. So Dwarkapuri is actually said to be part of Goloka Vrindavan. There is Dwaraka in Goloka Vrindavan. There is Navadvip in Goloka Vrindavan. There is Ayodhya in Goloka Vrindavan. All the different pastimes the Lord performed, he has his separate abodes. And so when he is coming into the world, he descends with these abodes. So Dwaraka is no exception. Dwaraka is a replica of the Vaikuntha worlds, and therefore we must expect this beauty, because it is, even though it seemed to be constructed by Vishwakarma, but Vishwakarma acted under Krishna's guidance. Vishwakarma, he constructed the city of Dwaraka based on Krishna's directions, Krishna's inspiration, Krishna's empowerment, because Vishwakarma cannot perform his duties without Krishna giving him direction. Just like in the case of Lord Brahma, before Lord Brahma could create, he needed inspiration from Krishna. And therefore, Krishna entered the heart of Brahma and revealed the Vedic literature, the Vedic knowledge to him. Tene Brahma Hidaya Adikavaye. The Lord entered his heart and Brahma became the first student. Adikavi, he was the first student, the original student of the Vedic literature. And based on the Vedic literature, Brahma was able to create. he chanted different mantras and created different beings, created the hellish planets, created the heavenly planets, created the earthly planets, just by chanting specific Vedic mantras. So without Krishna guidance, without Krishna empowerment, Brahma cannot create. So similarly, without Krishna's empowerment, without Krishna's guidance, Vishwakarma could not have constructed that beautiful city of Dwarakapuri on his own. So, so the Dwaraka, even though constructed by Vishwakarma, but it was done under the guidance of Krishna. And therefore, the beauty of Dwaraka cannot actually be described in mundane language. And there is a description of what is called Nava Vrindavan. Nava Vrindavan. Nava Vrindavan is part of Dwaraka. That is called New Vrindavan. Nava Vrindavan, New Vrindavan. It is said to be part of Dwaraka. When Krishna was feeling so much separation from the residents of Vrindavan, they had to create an environment similar to that of Vrindavan within Dwaraka, so that Krishna could perform, Krishna could rehearse or repeat those pastimes he performed in Vrindavan. It is said that Rukmini noticed that Krishna was always crying in his dream. Krishna will be crying in the dream, and Krishna will be chanting the names of Radharani. He'll be chanting the names of the gopis. So Rukmini was very disturbed. Who are those devotees? Who are those people who are engaging her husband like this? That at night, instead of him sleeping, he's busy calling names of individuals, calling names of gopis, calling names of the residents of Vrindavan. So Rukmini was worried. And as a result, this Nava Vrindavan, New Vrindavan, was created within the forest of Dwaraka in order to allow Krishna to rehearse his Vrindavan pastimes, to allow Krishna to relive his life in Vrindavan. Actually, it is said that Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, Krishna's childhood pastimes, are the most attractive. They're the most beautiful. Shalajiva Goswami mentions in the Sandarbhas, he says, Chitra Vihai Parama. He says the pastimes of Krishna are supremely attractive. They are supremely wonderful. They are supremely relishable, blissful. So the residents of Vrindavan, they were relishing these beautiful pastimes. And Krishna himself was relishing these pastimes when he was in Vrindavan. He was relishing his relationship with the devotees, the gopis, the cowhead boys, the cowhead men, the elderly gopis. Krishna was relishing his life with them, his pastimes with them. And they were also relishing their pastimes with Krishna. Therefore, Lord Brahma, in his prayer, he says, Ahobhagya, Nanda Gopa Vrajakusham, Yan Mitra Paramanadam, Purna Brahma Sanatanam. He says, the fortune of the residents of Vrindavan cannot be estimated. Ahobhagya, Aho is an exclamation. Just see, just imagine the great fortune. Bhagya means great fortune. Just see the great fortune of the residents of Vrindavan. Their fortune is unlimited. Their fortune cannot be calculated. Their fortune cannot be estimated. It's just unimaginable. Why? Because Yan Mitra Pramanandam, the Supreme Brahman, has become their intimate friend. Mitra means friend. He has become their very intimate friend. And what is more, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is Purna. Purna means complete. He is complete in everything. Krishna is complete in everything. That complete Supreme Personality of Godhead has become a resident of Vrindavan. He has become the friend and the lover of the residents of Vrindavan. He has become their cynosure. He has become their center of attraction of the people of Vrindavan. So who can calculate the opulence of the people of Vrindavan? Who can calculate the fortune of the people of Vrindavan? Who can calculate the wealth of the people of Vrindavan? So, in the same way, the city of Dwarka is amazing. Actually, it is said in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that Vrindavan is most complete. Mathura is more complete, and Dwaraka is complete. This is a comparative statement, comparative positions of the abodes of the Lord. Krishna manifests his complete opulence, the most complete opulence in Vrindavan. So that it is, his opulences are most complete. In Mathura, Krishna manifests his more complete opulence. And in Dwaraka, he completes his he manifests his complete opulence. So even Dwaraka is complete. The complete opulences of Krishna are found in Dwaraka. And that is being described here, that it's filled with the opulences of all the seasons. In other words, at any one time, you can find the opulences of all the seasons in Dwaraka. So, and then he says, the hermitages, the orchards, the flower gardens, the parks, the reservoirs, the breeding lotus flowers, they were just amazing, because these are the natural opulences. These are the natural opulences of the spiritual world. And the spiritual world is full of life. It's not that the spiritual world is a place of no activity. The impersonalists, the jnanis who end up in the Brahma Jyoti, they actually deprive themselves of the great variety that is found in the spiritual world. And so Dwarkapuri is reflecting what is the variety in the spiritual world. Whatever we see in this world, they are just the reflection, the perverted reflection, the shadow. Chayaiva. Chayaiva means the shadow of the spiritual world. The real things are in the spiritual world. So Dwarkapuri is reflecting what is actually happening in the spiritual world. It's a very beautiful place, full of gardens, full of orchards, full of lakes, reservoirs of water, full of lotuses, hermitages, and so on and so forth. So we can imagine, we can just understand the beauty of the spiritual world. And that is where Krishna is inviting all of us to come. It is a most beautiful place. Actually, one of the Puranas mentioned how the demigods, they had a chance. Lord Brahma one time visited Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva was in meditation. And Lord Brahma had to wait for Shiva to come out of his meditation. And when he came out of his meditation, Brahma asked him, you were so deep in your meditation, what were you meditating upon? And Lord Shiva smiled and said, you don't know. I am meditating on that beautiful boy, that bluish boy, our source, your source, my source, that boy, I'm meditating on him in Goloka Vrindavan. In Goloka Vrindavan. So, I'm relishing so much pleasure. I'm relishing so much bliss from meditating on that form. Anyone who can have a glimpse of that beautiful form in his abode, Goloka Vrindavan, there is nothing more important. And Lord Brahma said, is it possible I can also have a glimpse of it? So,
I think Srivastava internet froze or something. Yeah, it's frozen. Let's wait, he will come back. Today is a day of internet challenges. We lost Srivastava.
That is why it is called material world.
Yes. Oh, Krishna, Krishna.
Dukalayam asaswatam.
Dukalayama Sashwatam, indeed. I think this is the machinations of Maya. Maya doesn't want us to relish Krishna's katha, but whether she likes it or not, we're going to enjoy it anyway. Yeah, nothing is perfect here. Yeah. Well, oh, Krishna, Krishna. Kavikanapura, are you there? Your question to Shri Gopinath Prabhu's question yesterday keeps fascinating my mind. It's a very beautiful question. And I don't know how we'll be able to inculcate or emulate that as devotees. We are too quick to judging and condemning. Actually, I have a question for His Grace. If by Guru Krishna's grace he comes back, well, I think at this point, we may say, if anybody has any question, they may ask. There are senior devotees on the platform who may be able to answer your questions. We don't know. We don't know when.
I think since the rich speaker is he could not make finish it, and Prabhu has throw more light. Maybe we can. What do I don't know. Maybe you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, call it a day. Yeah, I think okay. Oladimeji has a question. This question goes to Kavikanapura Prabhu. Oladimeji, please ask a question, and it goes to.
What are you saying? I didn't hear you.
No, Oladimeji has a question, and the question goes to you.
Prabhuji, because I spoke
please,
now.
No, please go ahead. Oladimeji, you are unmuted. Please go ahead.
Hare
Good
Krishna.
to see you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you. My question is it's like a typical example of what happens daily to us. We always want to have a plan, and we always see it to be a perfect plan. And at the end of the day, something will just come up that we'll just need to be struggling to make it perfect, work, you know. So my question now goes into, is it good to prepare someone's mind that it's your perfect plan may go the other way around? And if that is good, is it not going to contradict the psychology of being negative at some point? That even if you are thinking it can go the other way so that you can get yourself prepared and you won't be, you know, depressed or, you know, so is it good to have that second thought that this perfect thing that I have planned for or that is going on well can go the other way around? Is it good to have such mentality, or we should keep having a kind of a positive mind that nothing bad will happen? So that's my question.
Thank you. That's a beautiful question. Kavikanapura Prabhu, please unmute and answer his question, please.
Prabhu, when you are here, who am I to answer questions?
Oh, come on. What's the name? Gopinath Prabhu is here. Salika Prabhu is here. You are here. You are a Shastric teacher.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Please,
let me try to honor you, Prabhu.
Please help.
So, thank you very much, Prabhu. So, like what Oladimeji Prabhu is asking, yeah, it's true what you are saying, that in one sense, you know, some people call us pessimistic. Are you hearing me, Prabhu? Are you there?
Yes, yeah, we can hear you.
Some people call devotees are pessimistic, that we always think of death, renunciation, and all this. And I think that is the relevance of what Prabhu is asking. That should we be pessimistic in nature, even though we know that we have to plan for future and all the rest. As a devotee, what we're actually teaching people is that, you know, we should know the nature of the material world, even though we should be optimistic. As a devotee, we should be optimistic because we know that Krishna is here to protect us, to maintain us. Even we have this prayer, Krishna, 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 Krishna. This prayer, Chaitanya Prabhu, when he was traveling through the Gaudiya in India, he was traveling through India, he was chanting all these prayers. That Krishna, please protect me. Krishna, please maintain me. We know that Krishna is the supreme protector and the supreme maintainer in this material world. So we have to be optimistic in that way, but we should know at the back of our mind that the creator of this universe who has created this place, he has designed it in a particular way, and which he mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. This material world is Dukalayam Ashashvatam, is a place of miseries and is temporary. Even though if we don't have miseries, we want to stay for a long time, we'll be kicked out. So yes, we should have all our plans. As a good manager or good administrators, even when we are making plans and strategies, we should know that there will be emergencies in the way. And those emergencies, they are inevitable sometimes because of the nature of the material world. And that is what, as devotees, we have to keep in mind. Yes, we should be optimistic. We should plan for future as a grihasta. Well, what I'm speaking to you now, I will not speak like that to a brahmachari or science. A brahmachari or science should be very pessimistic about the material world, because they don't have any business in material world. They should not have any business with the material world. They should be fully detached. They should be only thinking of Krishna and how to go back to the spiritual world. But for me and you as a grihasta, we have to make plans. We have to strategize on how to sustain our family, ourselves in this material world, but not forgetting the purpose of life. Always thinking of Krishna and never forget Krishna. Yeah, Chaitanya Prabhu, when he was with the associate, with his associate, there's one particular associate devotee. It was very detached in nature, renounced in nature. I think it's Vasudev Datta. Whatever he is, at the same time, he's a grihasta. So whatever he collects, he spends everything. So Chaitanya Prabhu has to personally tell Shivananda Sena, who is another grihasta, very good in management and managing his family life and other devotees. He told him to personally help Vasudev Datta to manage his life in a way that, as a grihasta, he has to plan for his family and save for future, even though you have this renounced nature. So that is, as a devotee, we have to understand this at this point. We have to understand this point. Although there will be some grihasta who will be on the platform of Srivas Thakur. Srivas Thakur was a pure grihasta that he doesn't want to work and he is completely detached from material world. So what happened was, Chaitanya Prabhu told him to go and work as a grihasta. He said, no, I will not work. He said, go, then you should take to renounce life. He said, no, I will not take to renounce life. He said, how are you going to maintain your family? He told Chaitanya Prabhu, my Lord, if I wait for 3 days, my Krishna does not give me what to eat and my family, I will go and drown myself in Ganga. He has full faith in Krishna, complete faith in Krishna, that Krishna will provide for him whatever happens. Those kind of faith is not very common. It's very rare in the material world. And that is why we have to follow the second example of Vasudev Datta. As a grihasta, we have to make plans. We have to be optimistic about what we do, but at the same time, we should not forget Krishna. This is only little I can contribute. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Kavikandapura Prabhu. See, the little I know in ISKCON is that you can understand a little bit about every individual from the names that the Guru gives them. So His Holiness Kavichandra Maharaj gave you a very powerful name, my goodness, Kavikandapura. So you're living up to that. Thank the heavens. We have His grace back. Today's been a day of torturous internet connection. But I was saying it's just the machination of Maya. Maya didn't want us to enjoy Krishna Katha, but Krishna helped us overcome Maya. So thank you, Maharaj.
My data got finished. So somebody,
okay.
Somebody was disturbing me with the call. I was trying to cut him off.
Yes.
Easy, and then my data got exhausted and it went off.
Okay.
So anyway, I don't know where I ended. I think we just have to take some questions. We didn't delay people for
Yes. Did
there any questions anyway?
There was one question which Kavi Puna Prabhu answered, I believe, quite satisfactorily. But
Okay,
the,
there's no
the
need.
question was from Dr. Oladimeji. He was using what's going on now as an example. How Ganga Prasad lost his internet connection. You were speaking, and then at the point you also lost your internet connection. So he was asking, sometimes we have our very, very well thought of plans to do something. And then Krishna also has his plans. And at the end of the day, it's Krishna's plans that works.
That's
so
true.
should we be, as we think, as we plan, should we be thinking that there can also be negative thing, and as such, think negatively and plan how to overcome the negativity instead of just always thinking positive? That was his question.
Well, I'm sure Kevin can have really did a lot of justice to that question. But obviously, as we preach, we plan to preach, we always have to have some mindset that with all our plans, if Krishna does not sanction, it may not materialize. So everything actually depends on Krishna's sanction. So if we have this mindset, then we will not lament too much when some of our plans do not materialize. So that is why it is said that we should make all the plans. We should make all the plans. We should strategize as much as we can, but we should also bear in mind that everything we are planning depends on Krishna's blessings, Krishna's sanction. If Krishna blesses our effort, then it will come out successful. If Krishna does not bless that effort, we may not get the results as we expect. So that may be the negative aspect, as he's saying. We should always bear in mind that Krishna may not allow it to happen. Even though we are trying to please Krishna, but if Krishna is not pleased, or if Krishna doesn't want it, then he may not allow our plans to mature, our plans to hatch. And so we should have that mindset that we do our best, but we depend on Krishna's mercy. Just like the case of Yashoda. Yashoda Mai had a desire to bind Krishna. He had that strong desire to bind Krishna to the wooden granny mortar. But she did not realize that without Krishna's permission, without Krishna's sanction, it was not going to be possible. So she gathered all the ropes in the house, and it was always short by 2 inches. Until Krishna saw that Mother Yashoda was sweating, she was panting. And Krishna decided to show some mercy. He said, no, this is my devotee. He loves me. Just see how he's trying to bind me. Just see how he's struggling. Let me allow him to do it. Let me grant him the wish that he wants to fulfill. And so it is said that the acharyas say that anything we do, two things are required. Our effort is required. Krishna's mercy is required. Without the effort, you cannot go anywhere. And without Krishna's mercy, we cannot achieve anything. So both things are always there in every endeavor. We must make the endeavor, But we should not think the endeavor alone is sufficient to bring results. We must also remember that Krishna has to sanction what we are desiring, what we are planning, what we are strategizing, and only then will the results come out. So in that sense, we should always have some mindset that the opposite may happen, if that is Krishna's wish. And so when it happens, we should not get so disturbed or so worried or so disorganized because we did not achieve the result. So a devotee has to be detached. In fact, whatever we do, we have to exercise some detachment, even for the results, because Krishna may not permit the results to happen. And so if we are not doing it with detachment, then we will be very affected. But if we are doing things with detachment, if the results come, all well and good. If the results do not manifest, all well and good. We say, okay, that's what Krishna wants, completely we back off. So that is what I will add to what Ganga Prabhu has explained. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Hare Krishna. I think, Oladimeji, you've helped us all get more than enough. Prabhuji, I have a question. The description of Dwarakapuri is so beautiful. And I'm just thinking, this is over 5,000 years ago. And if you look at the description of how the city was organized, it's amazing. When the Western world was living in caves, people in India were living in mansions.
That's right.
And
5,000 years ago.
And these people do not want to live up to this fact. Now, my question is, to us as human beings, there are many things that we know, I wouldn't say we consider, we know they are bad. One is prostitution. If someone is a prostitute, she shouldn't have any glorification or adoration or whatever. And they should not play like any serious important role in society. But down this particular chapter we're discussing, we will get there. We will get there. But I might not have you here to ask the question. And since you are here, I'm going ahead of myself. When Krishna entered into Dwaraka, there were professional prostitutes. Oh my goodness. When I read that, I said, what are these people doing in almighty city of Dwaraka? So Prabhuji, please throw some light on this for me. It's bewildering. My little mind cannot understand this. Almighty Dwaraka, they have professional prostitutes living there. And they all came to meet Lord Krishna.
Welcome, Krishna.
Oh, Krishna. Krishna is too much.
It's amazing. I was kind of in the same situation when I first came across that information. When I was doing Bhakti Vaibhav and I came across prostitutes in Dwaraka, I was wondering, what are they doing there? And who are patronizing them there?
Yes.
Everybody in Dwaraka must be a saint.
Must be a saint.
Association. What should they be doing prostitutes in Dwaraka?
Yes, yes, please help us.
But it is explained that, you see, in Dwarakapuri, there were a mix of citizens. We mustn't think that Dwaraka was just all Nitya Siddhas who came down with Krishna from the spiritual world. No, there were some demigods. There were some different kinds of people Krishna summoned to come and assist. And so those were not actually pure devotees. They were not Nitya Siddhas. And so prostitutes were necessary because it is said that in the Vedic system, those men who cannot be satisfied with one wife or be satisfied with their wife, let's put it that way, they would always look for opportunities to satisfy their insatiable lust. And so if there are no prostitutes, they would pollute young girls, pollute maybe even people's wives, pollute those they should not touch. So therefore, even that's why he said prostitution is as old as human history. Prostitution is as old as the creation because it is a facility to keep certain men who cannot, who are not satisfied by their wives. It keeps them away from polluting innocent people. So they play such an important role. We may by their profession, generally they're looked down upon because of their profession. Yeah, they're looked down upon. But can you imagine that prostitutes are also welcoming Krishna? Can you imagine that prostitutes are in the crowd of people receiving Krishna in Dwaraka Puri? That means they're also devotees. They're also renderings of service to the Supreme Personality of God. Actually, I consider those prostitutes more fortunate than me because I was not fortunate enough to be in Dwaraka to receive Krishna. But even despite their fallen position, they had that opportunity to have a glance of Krishna. And they have that opportunity to be party to the welcoming, arrangement in Dwaraka. So they are special people. They are just rendering service to low-class men because that arrangement has been there to enhance purity amongst the women fold of Dwaraka because of the low-class people, demigods, and so on. Like Indra, Indra he does these things. Even as with all his society girls, he has some powerful 12 society girls, very beautiful. But Indra is not even satisfied with them. He still goes after people's wives. So there are categories of people like Indra in the heavenly planet. And somehow or the other, they have joined Krishna in Dwaraka to participate in the pastime. So that facility must be there so that they don't pollute other women. And that is why they are present in Dwaraka. But we should see them as very exalted personalities because they saw Krishna. They welcome Krishna. They worship Krishna. And so they all come back home just by being in the association of Krishna. Their prostitution was nullified and they went back home.
Thank you so much. That's beautiful. You see, that's why at some point I was thinking, looking at being a devotee and being a demon, I was thinking that it might be easier for me to become a demon and have Krishna's association than being a devotee. Then I realized also that actually only very, very powerful demons
Yes.
the Krishna's and I might not be able to become such a very powerful demon.
You may not qualify to be a demon.
I may not qualify. So let me just try being a devotee.
You should struggle to be a devotee instead of being a demon.
But it seems Krishna is so sweet. Krishna is like a gulab jamun. Every part you bite is so sweet.
It's sweet. Yes, that's true.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Any other question, Prabhuji, Mataji? Salika Prabhu, Gopinath Prabhu. Any question?
We miss Ganga's.
Oh yeah, we miss him.
Yes, him. Because he has a lot of stuff to give us. But
yes, he did because he always gives amazing classes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Somehow we missed him. what can we say?
But from yesterday, when you you spoke, I mean, yesterday's class was so beautiful. But see, you talked about the three worlds: the upper planetary system, the lower planetary systems, and the
In the
middle.
middle. Yeah.
And the middle is humans. And so does that mean it's only this Earth, or there are other planets too that are inhabited by beings that are called humans? Because it appears to me that the upper planetary system is so huge, and the lower planetary system is also so huge. But the middle, if it's just Earth, that is very, very, it's like a speck. And why would that be the case?
No, you're right. It's not only Earth. Actually,
Okay.
it's called we have Bhumandala. We have Bhuva and Bhumandala. Bhumandala is the planetary system where the Earth belongs. It's called Bhumandala. And in the Bhumandala, there are other planets as well. Because it's not only one planet. There are upper planetary system, there are lower planetary system, there is middle planetary system. So there are other planets that are within this middle planetary system.
Okay.
Names may not be given, but we understand from scripture that there are other planets with similar conditions of life like the Earth. So they belong to this Bhumandala. So that is what the scripture says.
So could the Pitriloka be considered as part of the middle planetary system?
Well, somewhere it is mentioned that Pitriloka is very close to, is part of the hellish planets because it's very close to Yamaraj Loka.
Okay.
It's very close to Yamaraj Loka. Though another place I also read, it says that Pitriloka is close to the Earth planet.
Yes, I've read that.
Yeah, I've got two different definitions.
Okay.
One is mentioned just yesterday. I was reading somewhere. It said that Pitriloka, the ruler of Pitriloka is Aryama.
Oh, I didn't know.
Aryama is the head of Pitriloka. And when Yamaraj was cursed to become Vidura, Aryama became the leader of Yamaraj. He took charge of Yamaraj business.
Okay.
So it is said that Aryama was looking over his own planet, the Pitriloka, as well as Yamaraj's Loka, Samyapuri. So there is said that the Pitriloka is not far from Yamaraj planet. But also somewhere it says that Pitriloka is very close to the Earth planet. I also read something like that. So sometimes different scriptures give different descriptions for whatever reason. So what I read before, that the Pitriloka is close to the earthly planet. So if we take reference from that, we can say it is part of this Bhumandala. But with what another devotee was explaining, or another acharya was explaining, if we take that option that Pitriloka is close to Samyapuri, Yamaraj Loka, then it means that it is part of the Patala Loka, it's part of the hellish planets. So, but that is subject to the acharya, they can best explain the situation. But definitely, there are other planets that have not been mentioned or described, but they are within the Bhumloka. Maybe I will do some more research on that. I was thinking about it.
Okay.
Yeah, which planets are part of this Bhumloka?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking I should at least get one or two planets, one or two descriptions of such planets. But you see, it mentions Kim Purushas. The Kim Purushas are said to be like human beings. but they are not completely human beings. They're like monkeys, but they have their own planets also, Kim Purusha. So I was inclined to think that this King Purusha planet is also part of the Bhumandala.
Bhumandala.
Yeah, it's also mentioned somewhere, also talking about humanoids. There are some planets that the people, they look like human beings.
Yeah.
But they are different in behavior, different in activities. All of these planets may be part of the Bhumandala. So, but you have to read all the Puranas to be able to get all the information. You have to do a lot of research because this are mentioned in different Puranas. So there is the need for some research, and I'm thinking about it.
That's why it's so beautiful to listen to class, because one person cannot read everything.
Yeah, you can't read everything.
So when you hear others speak, then what you probably haven't read, that person know and then share with you.
Yes.
Yeah. But thank you so much. Well, so the hellish planets, aren't they different from the Netherlands or the subterranean planets? I think the subterranean planets are different from the hellish planets.
They are. No, they are in that region.
Yeah.
But they are like heavens.
Yeah.
There's so much sense enjoyment that the hellish planets are places of suffering.
Suffering, yes.
Some people are punished.
Yeah.
Indian planets, they are also part of the hellish region, but their environment is different. A lot of sense pleasure, a lot of material pleasure there. So they are different from the hellish planets, though they are in the same region.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking Patalaloka, which is the Nagaloka, is like the lowest of the 7 subterranean planets.
Yeah.
That means they are closest to
Garbhodakashayi Vishnu. Yes.
And yet they are, so we can be very close to Krishna and still not become pure.
Yes.
When I read that, that's what I was thinking. I said, I can be on the altar, serving Krishna, and still not be Krishna Bhakta. I have to be careful.
Yes, very true. They are very close to Garbhodakashayi Vishnu.
Yes.
They are not devotees.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
I think in absence of further questions, we might bring the class to an end. But thank you so much for stepping in. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All glory to Srila Prabhupada and all glory to Srila Gurudev.
Hare Krishna. So we ask all the devotees to unmute and then we chant Hare Krishna.
For Ganga Prasad, not for me.
For Ganga Prasad. For Ganga Prasad. Jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Hare Krishna.